Scorpio, welcome to your full moon energy read. So the next full moon will actually be in our sign, Scorpio, April 23rd or thereabouts, depending on where you are in the world. Personally, I really enjoy full moon energy reads as we get to see the height of concentration in the next 30 days of our mental, emotional, and spiritual development, and sometimes 3D as well. So let's see what's going on for us under the next full moon. Show me Scorpio, please. Show me Scorpio, show me Scorpio, show me Scorpio, please. What's going on, please, for that Scorpio collective? Show me Scorpio. Like always, take what resonates, leave what does not. And if there's more than one energy clearly apparent to you on this board today, then you reverse those energies as you see fit. These are, after all, general collective readings, not one-to-one private, which is to say they may not resonate. And if that's the case, and it might be, check your other placements. You will find yourself in there somewhere. All right. That feels right. Let's get cracking. Crowning. Ten of Swords. The Hermit. Good. Ace of Wands. Good. Well, Seven of Swords and the Four of Wands. Okay. Okay. There's something I see you leaving behind. Okay. What's interesting to me is that while you seem to want nothing to do with it, you are determined to heal and begin anew, begin afresh. I'm very curious, though, given that that Ten of Swords is crowning you, why you still feel inherently this need to shy away from something that's clearly over or it's too painful to proceed. I want to know why that is. Okay? But at the heart of the reading here is the Four of Wands, some sort of relationship energy. Okay? Crowning you, and this is looking pretty fresh, is the Ten of Swords. The Hermit. You have that within you, by the way. You have the choice to choose to heal this or pursue new. I see you leaning away from healing this. It is an option to you. And if that's your choice, that's your choice. I just don't see why you aren't being more confrontational with it. But that's your choice. I'm just curious about why you're choosing that. And I completely support it. Don't get me wrong. If something's not for you to fix, then it's not for you to fix. You either can or you can't, right? It does take two, and you'd have to know that you wanted to. But yes, you could try to heal this. I'm just curious about why that Seven of Swords is there. It's like you don't want to declare that. Do you just want to be quiet and walk away? Okay. I'm curious. We'll get there. It's not a judgment call. I just want to know. Let's say that Four of Wands. Show me that Four of Wands. Show me that Four of Wands at the heart of the reading. Some sort of relationship here. A relationship being defined by two people. Let's see that Four of Wands, please. Four of Swords, Five of Pentacles, the Devil. To try to re-engage with this, you say is a devilish thing. I got you. So you've tried to heal things with this relationship before, again, as defined by two people. So whatever that role is to you and that person, you're saying it's probably best left broken. To try to fix it, you're saying it's going to be a pattern within me that you say you should know not to do by now. That you, therefore, as a Scorpio I'm looking at, have a little devilish pattern here to try to fix the unfixable. I understand. So that would explain almost immediately to me your Seven of Swords. If you're that Scorpio who identifies as your particular devil, so just to be clear, if you're new to tarot, we all have a devil. Everyone does. And it represents different things. The more you know about your particular devil, the more you can, or you're better equipped, I should say, to outmaneuver it. Okay, not feed it so much, but we all do. Okay? You're saying you are familiar with your particular devil. It represents a pattern, of trying to fix the unfixable. So you would rather, and I told you you had a choice, to try to fix the situation or go for new. I saw you leaning away from the opportunity to fix this, but without actually addressing it. You're saying you'd rather not address it at all. Just kind of like I said, walk away. You're saying it's in your best interest because you're familiar with yourself. Four Swords, Five of Pentacles, the Devil, and just trying to fix this particular relationship over and over again. Let's say you've never had a pattern like that in a relationship before. Let's say it was just for this one. You say you've done it enough with this particular situation to know that it still represents a pattern that is futile in nature. Not only futile, but bad for you. Okay. So this is where I tell people all the time, just so long as you are doing what's right for you, that's all I care about. Okay? You say you know this about yourself. You've gone to rest on this one several times. You have a habit of, at least with bare minimum, this relationship, whatever that is, of saying, I keep putting myself in a position over and over again to try to fix the unfixable. And all it does is make me feel bad because you know abandonment here is inevitable. I don't know how many times you tried to hang in there and try to make it work, but you said, even if it was meant for the right reasons, it still came out the wrong way. And that's how you know it's a bad pattern. You can go in there, right? I'm committed to fixing this. But if it just makes you feel bad and there's no improvement, then you know at some point it's just pursuing a pattern. Okay. It represents an unhealed space in us to take the final answer at its word is no. And people who keep trying, who know they shouldn't, at the time, it might feel noble to stay in there and keep fighting. But at some point, it ends up costing you. It costs you your sense of self, you feeling good about yourself, what you're doing and why. All your good intents begin to start to feel sour over time and self-defeating, because that's what this looks like. If something wants to be healed, mark my words, if something wants to be healed, you see evidence of it, not anti-evidence, not anti-proof. So I don't know how long you tried to make this quote-unquote work, but you've had enough evidence now to understand that if you keep trying, all it does is harm you. So that's anti-healing. Okay, that's anti-effort. It's a vacuum. It just takes and takes and takes. It will not fix. So in this respect, I completely support your decision. You've identified this. Good. That means you are kind of a Scorpio that's in tune with your particular process, at least when it comes to this relationship. You say it's your Achilles heel and you keep falling for it. Okay? You keep falling for it and you don't want to fall for it anymore. It's not a very good relationship then, is it? If it feels like you're in one that you constantly fall for it. It's like, did I try to get myself back in this again? Did I try to keep this going again? Did I try to work with it or fix it again? Why? Yeah, that's how you know the difference between healing and anti-healing. Either way, you get proof. You do. Either way, you get proof. So usually it's just the bad one is the one that you don't want proof of. So you give it another month, you give it a couple seasons, and it still doesn't work. Change or shift, it still hurts like hell. It still feels dissatisfying. Okay. And something just feels bad. You know, and you ask yourself, why do you keep maintaining it? Why do you keep running back to it? Because it represents that unhealed place in us. Most likely, ironically, in the effort to prevent abandonment, we end up creating it. That's the thing about abandonment. It leaves a strong imprint, you know. Whoever failed you in the past, you end up connecting to someone who will do the same, so you go out of your way to make sure it doesn't happen. And that becomes an abandonment pattern. Think of it this way, you exiting this should help heal that old wound and understanding at last that it's meant to be abandoned. Just like whatever it is that failed you in the past, it was meant to play out that way too, not a reflection of you. But this, if you continue to stay in it, that is a reflection of you. So how do you want to be reflected? Back to yourself. Okay? Okay. Ten of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, Six of Cups, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, I know. You know. It hurts. It hurts, I know. You really love this. That's why, of course. And it was a love that took time for you to develop. The Six of Cups, it's someone we've known a long time. So you worked hard to make this work, right? We kept coming back to it. You kept showing it renewed love at the Ace of Cups. And because we felt soul bonded to it, and it probably is. We've known them a long time. And so you kept trying to show it, and this is our master symbol there with the Ace of Cups. You kept trying to show it fresh love over and over again. You know, I'm going to keep showing up for love for this, and here's the good intent. There's the reality. That's it. This is why it hurts so bad. You approach and reapproach a connection that's precious to you, that's unique to you, with good intentions over and over again. And then the results are still the results. Again, the difference between healing and anti-healing. You can put the best parts of yourself in it. You can say that you love it and show up for it consistently in love for all the right reasons, out of respect for the connection. But at the end of the day, honey, if it feels like a devil, it probably is. If it leaves you feeling more bad than it does good. Okay. I can tell, bare minimum, this meant a lot to you, but it seems to me, if it approached you with the same good intents, it wouldn't leave you feeling this way. So much so that you had to rest on your own particular efforts and why you were doing it. Okay. Let's see that Hermit, please. Show me the Hermit. Show me the Hermit. Good love gives back. It never leaves you feeling like you're in want. And this... Not only did it make you feel like you were in want, you were constantly running in the negative. You knew how it was going to end up. Right? But the strength of your emotional conviction, our emotional loyalty, is such as that you kept showing up for it over and over again. And that's where that pattern was born. Eventually, you started to feel bad. Let's see that Hermit, please. Show me the Hermit, show me the Hermit, show me the Hermit, show me the Hermit. Three Cups, Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, I agree. Stop participating in this and you'll get back on your particular path, which I know is easier said than done. It looks like you spent a lot of time, particularly your emotional self, invested in this with good intentions. But again, we saw how that played out. It takes two of equal good intentions to make something work. Okay. Whatever this is was just an old wound prompter to make you or kind of force you to address any old outstanding abandonment issues. And it played out again with somebody somewhere. Okay. Think that for what it was. Leave it alone. It looks like whatever this is, you're done with it. You didn't need this. You never did. What you needed was yourself. Okay? What you needed was yourself. Tell me what's worse. To be alone and feel good about yourself? Or to be with someone and feel alone. Whatever this is made you feel empty, and it was a reflection of an old wound. That you connecting with it forced you to address it at last. That's what this was. So when I tell you thank it for what it was, you can go ahead and be angry with them or they. Fine. But you can find peace with it. Thank it for what it was. You represented an old wound that it was time for me to close, and that's all you were. I give you no more of myself. Goodbye. That's it. You get back to being you. And celebrating yourself once more. You really just want to focus on your own progress, for which you already have an ample experience. I think that whatever this is greatly sidetracked you. Because who you are is actually stable and well-founded. That's not anti-growth. You've come a long way. You're well-developed. Don't forget it. So get back on your particular path of endeavors and experience, strength of self, and can do. And you can do. You have a wealth of experience behind you that suggests that you did it on your own. So how far did this connection actually take you? You already did most of the work yourself. Rejoice in who you are. And who you are is not defined about how someone else feels or doesn't feel about you. It's you. You get to decide that, not an external person or an external circumstance or a past history. You determine your worth. Not the parent that failed you, not the sibling that betrayed you, not whatever the hell this was that wouldn't step into whatever it was you were trying to give it. You define you. Okay. Let's see that Ace of Wands, please. Show me the Ace of Wands. Show me the Ace of Wands. Let's see the Ace of Wands. Let's see the Ace of Wands. So this is really coming out of the shadows for the Scorpio I'm looking at over the next 30 days. Okay. I don't quite know where you are in the process. The core of this, the heart of this, as far as I can tell, is done. You seeing and appreciating this pattern for what it is, how it represents or manifested itself in present day based on past disappointment and abandonment issues. You see this. You see that you connected those dots already. It caught you up to what's surrounding you. The Ten of Swords is the ending here, but you can at least tell yourself you always showed up for this with good love and intent in your heart. Until you did. You got caught up in a pattern based on what you felt. Okay? How else was that wound going to close unless you were emotionally invested in this? And I'm sorry it took as long as it did, but you got through it. You're back on your particular path, I believe, right around here. So let's say that Ace of Wands, which may not be before you just yet. Let's say that Ace of Wands, show me that Ace of Wands, show me that Ace of Wands, show me that Ace of Wands. Show me that Ace of Wands, please. Show me that Ace of Wands. There will be an offer of renewal in the future. Seven of Swords. Let's see that Seven of Swords, please. Let's see that Seven of Swords, please. Show me that Seven of Swords, please. Show me that Seven of Swords. Show me that Seven of Swords. It's, to be clear, it's not in the 30 days. This is well after the fact. In other words, not in the 30 days. There will be an offer of renewal by the one you walked away from. But time is attached to them, not you. So while it is your Ace of Wands, and it's a refresher, there will be much time passed between you being back on your pathway before this comes through. The Wheel of Fortune, Hanged Man, the King of Pentacles. My. That's quite the time delay. Let's see that Seven of Swords, please. Show me the Seven of Swords. You will not participate. Tarot doesn't dictate action, you do. Tarot is the proof of choice, not the absence of it. You get to choose. Tarot really is choose your own adventure. I can only reflect one of many choices. Ultimately, I see you leaning away from this. I don't think you want to participate. You will exit the communication as soon as possible if you choose to respond at all. You're saying there's too much regret attached to this person. That's what happens when you give your heart wholeheartedly to something and it comes out into an ugly-ass pattern that served you not at all. There's something about that you can't forget. And I don't know that you can even forgive it because you saw how far it took you. You saw how far you were willing to push your heart space for this. You saw how much of yourself you put into this. No, I do not see this being given your good graces. No, I do not. You're saying a heart hurts on this subject still. It's a truth that you bear. Ace of Swords, even in future, through that communication which comes through, and it's not by you. Five of Cups, Ace of Swords, the Eight of Wands. You will not participate. I don't see you responding. It's almost like saying whatever that truth is in communication is a truth that's much, much, much too late. It's not a vengeance thing. It's a Seven of Swords says, I can't, which tells me you don't trust. We have trust issues. Especially after we give our heart so freely to something over and over again, just to be treated or be part of a pattern that ultimately represented abandonment wounds, all that crap. I don't know what kind of relationship this was, but it wasn't a healthy one. Okay? It was a poor attachment at best. I see you not entertaining the communication at all. Whatever that sorrow is, the sadness, the regret, It still hurts you to this day, but you are silent on the subject. You do not return the communication. I have to agree. I'm not here to encourage you to participate in something that is clearly toxic. When I see people, just so we're clear, when I encourage reconnection, which is actually quite often, it's because it's what two people actually authentically want. And they're willing to show me effort, lessons learned, lots of lessons learned. Emotional development, character development. This is what I learned about myself. This is how I grew up. Thank you. Without you and this experience, as difficult as it was, I wouldn't have grown the fuck up. I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't have this insight. And it hurt. It hurt so bad. I didn't know how to say it at the time, but that's why we needed to split so I could grow up and see it. That's stuff I see all the time. And I encourage it 100%. You're a human being. If you fail to evolve, you fail. That's it. Whatever this is showing me no evolution. There's something about the communication you receive, while it is honest with the Ace of Swords, all it does is provoke sadness of what was and wasn't. In other words, it tells me you don't trust it still. You can't even respond to it. I don't know if because the pain is that deep, or it's a combination of trust issues, or both. But this represents a relationship that you ultimately cannot trust, because ultimately you could not trust yourself in it. So that means it's unhealthy. And it represents some level of toxicity that by the time it reappears, it does not represent growth or change. And because it does not represent growth and change, I don't see responding to it. Whatever it is, there's not enough on the line to suggest that there's been evolution. I say it all the time. No change plus no change equals no change. I'm sure that they've had a lot of time to change. They did. A lot of time to change and think and sit on what happened. So while that feels refreshing, I'm sure, Ace of Wands, you're saying there's not enough here to sustain a viable response. Never mind re-engage with this. You're convinced it'll end up the same, or that the pain runs too deep. Regardless, I just want to make it clear I support your decision. That's all I want for people. Are you consolidated? Do you know what you're doing and why? If so, you can stand behind your decisions and act on them accordingly, and you are a whole person, a whole being. Or you're going to be a splintered, fragmented person like I saw in the so-called relationship. I know your beautiful heart was in this. Bless it, that's our emotional loyalty. And it's that same emotional loyalty in some way that was used against you to stay in something ultimately that was toxic. It's almost like your love was used against you. So when I tell you, Scorpio, I'm looking at when you decline this, it's for a good reason. I honestly feel right here that your love was used against you to stay in something that knew ultimately was going to end up in abandonment. So while I have no doubt it served its purpose in healing old abandonment wounds, and how you'll never go through this again, and now that you can see it for what it is and what it represents, they're saying there's no going back. So between what this represents, how much of yourself you put into this at your own cost, okay, and what looks like no wiser for wear, that this will serve a purpose to you, that's healthy, I don't see you engaging in it. Again, I support your decision. Okay. Like I said, you're right about here. The core of the lessons learned, you saw how much you put into it, it still hurts you. Ten of Swords. It still is above you in influencing energy, even though the thing itself is done. Just to be clear. What pains you the most is how much you remember loving this wholeheartedly and without question, and for it to end up in some toxic pattern bullshit. Understand the root origin of it, and you will never go through it again. That is your obligation. You don't ever want to experience this again? Learn where it came from. That's your origin story, not theirs. Okay? Here you are, walking the path of healing, getting back into who the heck you are. Again, all those coins and pentacles, that's an achievement on your own back. No one did that for you. That was your path. You getting back in touch with this is further out. Much further. Okay? Not 30 days. But I believe you need the space to heal anyway, because that way, by the time this comes through, you will know not to touch it or go anywhere near it. And that will come from the best consolidated place in you. Okay? I'm not really interested in what their lessons were. Not to use somebody for their feelings. That would be one. But again, that's really not your business. That's theirs. I don't want to know what their debt is. Yours was enough. Okay? Okay. Concern yourself with your bills. They're yours. End of the story. Practice gratitude. Yes, do not forget. Practice gratitude and then also yourself. You know you're part of your own gratitude, right? You should be. Like I said, you did this. Be grateful that you are someone who knows how to stand on their own 2 feet and prizes their ability to grow and to maintain healthy connections and knows how to heal and have insight and experience. Okay? Be real. Full moon in Aquarius. Yeah, be really real. Be really real. When the time is right, be your most honest self. But practice gratitude. Not just for the bounty that you have achieved for yourself, but everything in your life that represents good and healthiness and love for the right reasons. Okay? Coffee cup. I want you to become so enlightened and evolved that you understand what abandonment issues are and how they're triggered by other people, so you'll never get caught up in this again. Okay? I talk to people all the time who use their sense of counseling or therapy as an excuse to actually do nothing. They just walk around with labels and spatting terminology, but they don't actually learn from it. Don't be that person. Okay? Learn from it. It's not enough to just have the lingo. You need to know how to apply it. Okay? But I think that's you. So that's what I'm saying. It was on the sideways. Old man, I'm sorry, not old man, old woman on the sideways. You're not there, honey. You're coming out of that place of sadness. You are. Okay? And I know sometimes it can feel like you're older than you are, or older beyond your years, or that you're worn out, or you don't have the energy, or that you feel cold and lonely. That's not true. That's the space you were coming from. And it's where you're trying to exit. Okay? Remember, we're always in a place of evolving. Luck, money, coins. Oh, I know. Like I said, you had your coins down before whatever this was interfered. Get back to who you are. So that's the Pentacle world showing up for you. You're good at what you do. You have the experience. You're a good person. You're solid. You have your own particular roots. That for good reason, thank God, never fully integrated with this. They didn't need to be touching your roots, honey. Okay. Let's see. Opportunities, home, beyond the gate. Yeah, I can see where you're not going out beyond the gate just yet, in terms of being open to exploration. Nor should you be. Don't rush that particular process. You're not there yet. It's enough that you're getting back on the path with you. Okay? There will come a time when you'll be asked to venture outside your garden gate, and I see you just not acknowledging that. So do keep that in mind. Okay? Okay. Okay, we have the letter V. We have the medallion of Leo, but it's on the reverse. It's the keyword generous. Oh, I know. Right there. You were generous with your love. Here we have the maple leaf, or the turning of the leaves, and the representation of fall. Fall, or this upcoming fall, might be important. Hence when I said further down the road. And then we have the tree of life, or the 10 of pentacles. I know. You're on your way. You want stability. You want meaning in this life. That's the whole point of the tree of life, is meaning, context, right? Your particular roots are very important to you. How you've anchored yourself, how you have grown under your own sense of direction. Okay? Sense of self is quite a bit. You have evolved quite a bit. Don't forget that. And this, as difficult as it was, and I know it was, is actually going to add to your evolution, not take away from it. You have to trust that. But that's if you're willing to learn from it. If you're not willing to learn from it, you will de-evolve. And then you will become like the person who hurts you. Don't let that happen. Okay? Don't let that happen. The best revenge you will ever have is to feel none at all. Because you're too busy living a life that's yours. You may not believe it, there will become a day where you will not think of this person anymore. I know it seems impossible. That will never happen. Oh, but I do love how the impossible becomes the possible, don't you? Why do you think you're here? I hope this helped you. Put in the comments. Take care. Be well.